I don't know if you saw it, but Jen Psaki sat down with James Comey and they were sort of playing lefty fan fiction, pretending that there's a very good chance that Donald Trump could be the first person to ever be nominated for the presidency with an ankle bracelet, or he could even be the first person who's elected from jail.
I mean, it's this crazy world that Donald Trump has dragged this country into, but he could be wearing an ankle bracelet while accepting the nomination at the Republican convention.
And could be wearing an ankle bracelet and be elected in November.
Yeah, we could have, it would be rejected if you put it in a script for a show, but you could have a president who is potentially incarcerated when he's elected president. So that would be weird and awkward. And it seems even crazy to be coming out of my mouth, but that's the situation we face. It looks like the Republicans will likely nominate someone who is under serious criminal investigation, is indicted, and who knows where that's going to lead us.
They really are. I mean, they started at 11, and I don't know how they've found a way to get up to 13, but they are just living in a fantasy land about how unelectable Trump may end up being. But as you say, when the alternative is the bloke who's falling over and the person who would inherit the presidency is someone that couldn't even get to the first round of her own Democratic primary, people don't care.
That was never Trump porn. That's what that was. They just revel. Like, how many ankle bracelets could we get on him? What kind of a prison would he be in? How would he get a mug shot? Would we get a shot where he's walked away in handcuffs? We saw it when the Alvin Bragg prosecution was announced in New York and he had to go in for his arraignment. And they're hoping there could be as many as 3 more of those coming their way. You remember what happened. They should be careful because after the Alvin Bragg indictment, Trump's numbers went through the roof. And they've stayed there. They've stayed there. Just ask Ron DeSantis, who was getting a little close to Trump in states like Iowa and New Hampshire prior to the indictment. And then the indictment happened and Trump took off like a rocket ship and he hasn't come back down. See how it's going to go when the next prosecution is announced and the next prosecution. The public is going to feel sorry for him. They see him as the victim of a persecution. So the Democrats really better be careful here. They better be really careful because they're elevating him more than anyone else. Ron DeSantis is not really giving him a run for his money right now. So Trump could be the nominee and Biden truly might not make it. I don't say that with glee. I don't want anything bad to happen to the man. I think what is being done to him is cruel. I think it's the same thing as John Fetterman, the senator, and Dianne Feinstein in California, the senator. They're propping up this person who clearly should be exiting stage left and having a dignified retirement into a role he's no longer fit for. So it makes me upset, makes me angry, but it also makes me scared for the country. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be extra scared.
The disaster that is the performance artist of Dylan Mulvaney, we now learn that there's more problems, not just for Bud Light, who people are not buying, they're not going back to it, they have found the alternatives when it comes to their beer of choice, but the ad agency responsible for, further empowering the performance artist is in even more trouble now. The
reports are that they are in an all-out panic, and why wouldn't they be? They've made a legendary mistake. They now have made this brand, rather than more sellable, they have made it a laughingstock. To be caught with a can of Bud Light in America now is like being caught with your pants down. You look like a fool. Everyone will laugh at you. You're not in on the joke. You've made yourself a national humiliation just by selecting the wrong beer can. And for those who have been living under a rock and haven't yet been told what's happened to that brand and what it now means, they're about to find out the hard way. They're going to be the butt of a lot of jokes just by ordering a beer that used to be symbolic of middle America. So far, we've had at least 2 people essentially fired, laid off, but they were never seen again. We've had this advertising company completely embarrassed and in a panic now. Who's going to hire them to run their marketing campaign? We've had one of these classic American brands absolutely devastated, and their devastation has been like a nuclear bomb. The plutonium has rubbed off. It's still in the ether, coming down on companies like Target, like Chick-fil-A, like Kohl's, another clothing company. So the shrapnel is hitting others now because the American public has been stimulated, awoken, and remains very angry about this kind of thing.